ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I am your host tonight. I'm not your distinguished guest. I'm your host tonight, Coolie Ranx. And we have our distinguished guest over there, King Django. What's up, King Django?
What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
Yo,
how you doing, Coolie? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah. I think the last time I saw you was here in New Brunswick.
Exactly.
At the court.
And you called me up.
It was, I called you in on the Hub City.
Yes, you did.
That was a fun time.
That's crazy. Now, you've been doing this thing for a minute now, bro.
Yeah, a little bit of a minute.
Like your New York City history.
Well, there were some people there when I got there.
Yeah. This is true.
And some of them are still around.
This is true too. What I've seen you from my humble beginnings. I've seen you. See, I didn't know you when you was in the Boilers. You was in the Boilers?
Yeah.
I didn't know you then, but I knew you when you got to Skinnerbox, when you made Skinnerbox.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning because
all right.
How did you get into ska and how did you get into the Boilers? Let's go.
Wow, I guess ska proper was a little after, but first was two-tone because I was going to school. I grew up in Brooklyn, but I started going to school in Manhattan when I was like 12 years old. So I went to junior high school in the same school, uptown, like 94th Street and whatever. And so that was when two-tone was just happening. And certain friends of mine were into it. Somebody hit me to it. Like, I remember my one friend took me to Bleecker Bob's when it was at the previous location, not the last location. And he showed me the Prince from Madness, and that was the first two-tone single, and it had just come out. So I heard that when it was brand new. And then I didn't really get into it for a little while after that. But, it was like Madness, the Specials, the Beat, Selector, Bad Manners. All that stuff was happening at that time. So I liked it. I got into it. I never heard anything like, I remember the thing that made me start playing was like, by the time Specials Ghost Town was out, I had already found out about Scatolites and Prince Buster and all that Jamaican stuff because, from reading liner notes, which they don't have those anymore, do they? You buy a record and you sit there and listen to the record and read a mini book on the back cover and open it up sometimes in a gatefold and there's more. So you learn so much. And then I guess now you can just Google it. And so reading about all that stuff. And then also we used to always get the British music papers, which was like New Music Express and Melody Maker. And because two-tone was happening right then, there was always every week at least a little article about one of the two-tone bands. So we just read all that stuff. And, I was lucky enough to live in Brooklyn and my mom grew up in Flatbush. So when I said to her, "Oh, do you know where this is?" She goes, "I know exactly where that is. Come on, I'll take you there." I couldn't drive or nothing, Yeah. So my mom would drive me out to Flatbush and I would go in these Jamaican record stores. I'm like 14 years old, maybe. I already have boots and braces, crop head and everything. And I walk in these shops and people would be like, "You okay, man? What are you doing? You all right?"
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went in the shop, it was called Soul Haven. It was a big record shop down there. I don't know why my phone is ringing. So I go in there and it's like the biggest reggae shop I've ever seen yet. And there's nobody in the store, just me. I just walk in, I'm looking around and there's reggae records everywhere. And I'm just like, oh, looking around. Wow, but there's no person. So I walk to the very back. No, check it. I walk all the way to the back, man. I walk all the way to the back of the store. And there's a little doorway, a regular doorway. And I look in the doorway and there's this little lady and she's watching television with her back to me, watching television on the opposite wall. And I was like, excuse me. And she turned around and looked like she saw a ghost, She was like, she said, "Are you okay?" First thing she said, "You all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm cool. Thank you. I was looking for like some Prince Buster, Derek Morgan, Desmond Decker, Scatterlights, this kind of stuff. And she looked at me like, no, no, no. And I got very sad, you know? And I was like, all right, thank you. And I turned around and I'm walking out. And just as it was a big store, just as I get to the front door, she goes, hold on, come back. What did you say? What did you say? And I said, oh no. Really? Sorry, I forgot to turn my do not disturb on.
Oh, okay.
Bombo. Let me fix this. That's retarded. Oh, I'm not gonna say that word.
I need to do that too.
Okay.
So I'll do it afterwards.
I'm getting back to it. Here we go. Coming back. All right. So I said, you know, Prince Buster, Derek Morgan, Desmond Decker, Scatterlights, that kind of thing, you know? And she goes, come here. And I follow her back and she goes over to the 45s area. And she goes under the counter and she starts putting stacks.
Yeah,
it's like 1981, you know? Yeah. She's putting stacks of Prince Buster 45s on the counter. And I'm just like, so I'm just like, I don't even have enough money to get them. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, going nuts. And I just take as many as I can afford. And I said, will you hang on to these for me? She's like, don't even worry.
Ain't nobody coming for that. How much are they selling for them back then?
Oh, probably like $2, maybe. $2-3, maybe less. $1.99, I think, maybe $2. Can't remember. It's a long time ago, man.
So from there, you listening to these songs made you start in the boilers?
That was much later, actually. That was like, so this would have been like 81. And I didn't really get into boilers till around 86.
Wow. So you're studying now. You're studying all this music here.
Yeah, I wasn't even a musician. I didn't even play an instrument or anything yet. I was just a fan, you know?
Right.
So I had some little piano lessons when I was little, but my mom was like, you don't practice, so you can't have any more lessons, you know? You're not taking it serious. You're cut off.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any more lessons. And then, so I'm listening to this stuff and I'm hearing like Rico Rodriguez and Don Drummond. For some reason, the trombone just broke my brain, you know what I'm saying? So it was a long time after though. By the time I started, the first time I touched a trombone was probably like 2 more years later, 83, 84, probably 84. And the first thing I learned on the trombone was Guns of Navarone by Scatterlights, you know? Oh. And, you know, from there, I went away for a year to go to school. I got kicked out of school because I was hanging around being a skinhead instead of going to classes, trying to play music, getting drunk, doing all kinds of shenanigans. Mm-hmm. Got sent back home. And so I had a band up there while I was in school that was called Too True. And we had one recording that was on Bucket's first compilation on Moon.
Okay.
Which was a song
Rob
called
Hingley
Free South.
For those on know.
Yeah. Rob Hingley's label, Moon Records. Yeah. And so we had a tune on there. And then, you know, I came back to New York, so that band was over. And I was hanging around Blanche's, you know.
Yeah.
And you met everybody at Blanche's. If you went to Blanche's.
Blanche was the hangout for all the East Side kids.
Yeah, all the ska kids, and people would come from everywhere to hang out there. Brooklyn, Queens, Jersey. That was just like, I mean, there was hardcore kids that hung out there too. Like, I remember I used to see Cro-Mags playing pool there when I was like 17 and stuff. But, you know, everybody would gather there like on the weekends and be on the street with boom boxes, listening to Jamaican ska, people dressed to the nines, rude boys, mods, skinheads, rude girls with the fishnet stockings and little mini skirts and everything. And everybody was just hanging out. And in those days, you could smoke spliffs on the street, drink beer on the street, and nobody wouldn't bother you. As long as nobody was getting killed, the cops weren't even coming around. It was the Lower East Side, East Village, you know, border of East Village, Lower East Side. in the middle '80s. So I went there and just met everybody, and I met these guys that were doing the boilers, and they were like, "Yo, we heard you play trombone," and I was like, "Well, I have one, but I wouldn't really say that I could play it yet." And they were like, "Well, why don't you come hang out and come to rehearsals, because we need to get a new drummer and a new singer and this and that, keyboard player, whatever." Kind of putting the band back together. We kind of split it up. So come and hang out and we'll see what happens. So I started going to their rehearsals, which were like kind of part rehearsal, part audition. I started learning the tunes. I remember I had ripped a page out of a trombone book that had the positions of the trombone and the notes. So I would listen to the song that they're playing and I go, okay, go to the piano, figure out what the notes are on the piano, and then look at my little paper and be like, okay, and try to figure it out on the trombone. And I did that through a bunch of rehearsals. And then by the time the full band was together, I could play a little bit. So we just went.
How many years were you in the Boilers for?
The Boilers was like, I think about only like 2 years maybe.
So from there you did
86 to 88-ish. Yeah.
So you left the Boilers and then you did Skinnerbox.
Boilers was kind of like starting to disintegrate. And I didn't want to stop playing. And I was like, I wanted to keep doing the Boilers, but it was getting really hard to keep it going. So while that was still going on, I was still trying to make it continue. I was like, I'm going to do something different because I don't want to be without a band, So I thought this was supposed to be on Do Not Disturb. And so yeah, I started putting Skinnerbox together during that time. Danny Doolin, trumpet player, he had actually auditioned for Boilers right at the end. And I don't know if he played any gigs with us, but he started rehearsing with us. But I was like, yo, you want to do something? And we started putting another band together. He was like, yeah, I got this friend, Brant. He brought Brant Abner.
Mm-hmm.
Brant Abner, I miss him so much. What a talent, man. I can't say enough. I learned so much playing with Brant because I wasn't even hardly a musician when I started with those guys. And I would say Skinnerbox was really the band that really opened me up to like what music can be, like what you could do. Because when I started it, I just wanted to be Jamaican ska, like boogie, and like dub reggae. That's all I really wanted to play. But Skinnerbox, once we started playing, it was like, oh, these guys all have some other crazy influences. And I was like, okay, let's just see what happens. So we didn't have any rules in that band. We just, the only rule was if it doesn't work, get rid of it. That was the only rule.
I think the first time I saw you guys was on Avenue A and 13th Street or 11th Street in some spot.
Avenue A.
It's not Avenue A or it's First Avenue. It's just spot and you guys are in there playing this shit.
Was it like time. Nightingale Bar on 2nd Avenue or something?
I didn't know where it's at, bro. It was just
I don't know either.
Moons. But I remember the first time
there all the time though.
Is it? It was a high stage.
Wait. No stage.
Nah, I seen you on the stage.
Like a bar with a floor. Okay. I can't remember.
Yeah. Jonathan took me in there. I know. So from Skinnerbox, you started a label or you started stubbing afterwards?
So Skinnerbox was going along for a while, and in the early part of the 90s, there was like all that stuff was going on downtown, like Blues Traveler and Spin Doctors and all that stuff, all that kind of like neo hippie kind of thing going on. And I mean, that's what it kind of was. Everybody was like wearing tie-dye and Guatemalan shit and smoking weed and dropping acid and stuff.
Word.
Yeah. And
Blues Travelers? Anyways, all right.
Oh, what? Yeah, man. Yeah. We used to open for Blues Traveler and Spin Doctors a bunch at that Nightingale Bar and sometimes even in Wetland. And there was these like industry people hanging around and telling us this and that, and we got to make a record and they're going to get us signed and blah 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 blah. So we followed them for like we try to do what they told us to do for like, 18 months. And then it was like, nothing's freaking happening. And I was like, screw this. I'm just going to do it myself. Now, in the Boilers and Skinnerbox, we had been putting out our own music, but in those days, it was cassettes.
Yeah.
So we literally had like dubbing decks. We would go buy like a case of blank cassettes, make Xeroxes, cut them out with a scissor or a paper cutter, fold them up, stick them in there, put the stickers on, print the stickers on a dot matrix printer, stick them in there, with the pinholes.
That's
Put them out, stick them on, and go sell them in the record stores in New York City. And we used to sell a lot of them actually. And I guess by that time, Bucket was already putting records out for a while because, I guess when did he start putting records out around 85, 84, 85. And so I was just like, I don't got time for these people. They're not doing anything for us. Let's just do this ourselves. So we went and we made the first CDs on Stubborn Records,
That's when it was born.
Yeah, that was like 90. I think we started it in 92, but I think that the first CD didn't come out until 93, if I'm not mistaken.
So Stubborn was born in 92.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to run to some videos. We're going to check out some of these videos.
Okay, cool.
And we're going to come back and talk about Stubborn Records, Stubborn Allstars, and every other
shenanigans.
Gosh. We can get into some shenanigans.
It's all shenanigans all the time.
You're a very interesting brother, so we're going to get back onto the rest of that. We're going to definitely talk about some of the shenanigans. Be right back with King Django.
Bless.
Not like a star, you like the moon to me. Ever close, but sharing your light only once in a while. I don't know where you've been while I've been gone, and I'm always on the run. Not like the sun that burns me all the day, but the ocean lapping at my shores, cool water refreshing to my soul. And I love you just because. Not like a star, no, you're not like a star, baby, not like a star, like the moon to me. Ever close, share your light only once in a while. I don't know where you've been while I've been gone, and I'm always on the run. Not like a star, no, you're not like a star, oh baby, not like a star. You like the moon to me, ever close, sharing your light only once in a while. I don't know where you've been while I've been gone, and I'm always on the run. I'm always on the run. Said I'm always on the run. Ooh. Might I rise, 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 might I rise to find you. The moon in the sky lights up your eyes like a backdrop of heaven. And this tune I describe, girl, it could match your beauty's never. Oh, but baby, I still haven't seen you, though. Maybe one day I will rise to find you, find you by my side. The sun greets the dawn to find me thinking about your treasures. And by night I dream on to the day that I might taste your pleasures. Ah, but baby, I still haven't seen you, though. Maybe one day I will rise to find you, find you by my side. I got a yearning in my heart and a hole in my soul over you. I like a king that's seated on an empty throne. Girl, I long to hold you. I long to hold you close to me. Baby, I long to find you. I long to find you by my side. Yeah, the moon in the sky lights up your eyes like a backdrop of heaven. And this tune I describe, girl, it could match your beauty as never. Oh, but baby, 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 I still haven't seen you, though. Maybe one day I will rise to find you. Oh, I'll find you by my side. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, ah, ah. Every time you hit, there's a chance to love. Each time you fall, there's a chance to get back up. Every conflict is a chance to understand. Free will is what it means to be a man. Every chance to fight is a chance to make a friend. Every breakup is a chance to make amends. Every chance for war is a chance for peace. And free will separate man from beast. Take your chances, make your choice, and choose your weapon. Use your voice, cry loud, and I hope that you choose to cry out loud. For each chance that you take will be your last. Take your chances, make your choice, choose your weapon, or use your voice. good seed to plant in your field, and I help you plow it. You still can make it grow, then you don't know how to farm it. The seed is strong and bountiful, what to yield a crop so beautiful. So if you will be dutiful, then we both shall eat in plenty. But if you do not listen to me and treat the field impatiently, and do not mind it carefully, or thinking only of what you will reap, then the crop will drop and fail. I know, I said the crop will drop and fail. The crop will drop and fail. Oh yes, I said the crop will drop and fail. So we, my good seed, plant in your field, and plenty help to plow it. Know that we gonna make it grow, yes, to bear sweet fruits and flowers, and a crop won't drop or fail. I know, I said the crop won't drop or fail. The crop won't drop or fail. I know, I said the crop won't drop or fail. We're at the ending to this tale, and this crop won't drop or fail.
Okay, let's go back to King Django. Not Greg Lee. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here for the Saturday night quarantine sessions of the Supernova. Bang 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 bang. If you don't mind, like and share, please. Like and share so everyone knows what's going on. And also, when you're making your comments or questions, please let us know what part of the world you're from. Maybe Texas, maybe New York City, maybe Connecticut, maybe Florida, so forth, and so on. Back with the great one here. What's good, bro?
What's going on?
As I said, man, I like all that camera work and all of that
Thanks, man.
cameras going on with it.
I just learning it this week for this, man. I wanted to do it anyway, but this gave me an excuse to do a lot of things I needed to do anyway.
For sure, you got to teach yourself and keep yourself abreast on what's going on, huh?
Yeah, you know.
For shizzle. I'm not gonna go. Someone did ask a question, but I'll wait till later on to ask that question. Come back and tell me how the stubborn project started.
Stubborn Allstars was like, you know, kind of a response to how Skinnerbox was going, because, like I said, I love Skinnerbox and I learned so much musically in that band. But when I started it, I was trying to play ska, rocksteady, dub reggae, and jump blues, you know? And Skinnerbox was crazy, opened my mind and taught me so much about music. But I found myself really wanted to go back to what I started out trying to do. And at that time in New York, it just worked out that there was a lot of people whose bands were kind of like almost there, almost that. A lot of people that were doing kind of like a more modern take, but they had people in the bands that were super into the original stuff as well. So I was like, yo, I could probably pull this off right now if I get this guy, and that guy. Then we could probably sound like I wanted Skinnerbox to sound like. So I just started
this group though.
Yeah, well, I just picked the guys that I felt would be like most able to, you know, without me asking, that would most be able to sound like what I wanted, you know? So I just picked, you know, Eddie and Victor Rice, and Vic Ruggiero was actually the original guitar player.
Mm.
This keyboard player called Taggio. And I guess that was like most of the original band. Kid Jason Glazer on trumpet, and Elle was with me on saxophone, and that was the original band, I guess. I think we got Dave Nelson also on trombone at that time. And just made the EP, and that was really all that was all my goal, was just do that EP. And so we made that EP, and then it kind of just blew up from there, you know?
Sure did. Bless
What was
you.
that noise? Oh, bless you. I thought it was an alien invasion.
We heard it. Yeah. Salud. Oh, that you? Oh, anyway, so back on this one here. That's in the control. That's in the control.
They can't hear him, right?
It's freezing back there. Now they can't hear him.
Yeah.
So you did Stubborn.
Yes.
How many records did you guys do?
We did 2 records with Another Planet, which was under Profile Records, which was, at the time that we signed with them, they were the largest independent in the country.
Yes.
So that was really helpful for us, you know, because they had a budget, and they had, you know, their whole network set up to where you get to really see how the industry works, you know. They had their publicists, and they had their pool of people that, you know, you pay them to do their job and things get done. So, you know, that was really helpful. And then right before the second record dropped, which was back with a new batch, the owner of Profile had been in that business since the disco times. He made all his money on disco royalties. And then he did Def Jam Records too, which I'm sure he made a bunch of money on that. Oh, wow. And he just decided he didn't want to do it anymore. He decided to retire right at that time. So he sold all the assets of the company, kept the name, I guess, kept the rock label that we were on.
Yeah.
I think. And then he decided to get a yacht and go import French wines or something like that. That was what he wanted to do now. So our record, the second record, came out on Triple Crown, which was a new label started by Fred Feldman, who was the point man at Profile, and we were on Another Planet Records, which was Fred's label at Profile, you know? Mm. So that ended, you know, on a much smaller note than the first one, because no budget. Mm. And then we did the third record ourselves again at Virgin City.
So Virgin City now, that's your studio?
Yeah.
Well, all right. So 3 records in total, or?
Yeah, 3 albums.
All right. So where's Open Season in that? I want to get into that one. Where's Open Season in that?
That was the first. That was on the first EP.
Cause that record, that record caused some noise.
Oh, the LP, the album.
Oh my God, the record, just the tune. Just the tune. Open Season, just the tune itself.
Yeah, it's funny.
Last week we had Greg Lee on here, and I said, "Yo, yeah. Greg, you should." Yeah. How about my West Coast boys? And I hit up Alex too. I was like, "Yo, y'all need to come in on this live with me. Come in here on this live so I can get some questions here." See, I know what you was doing.
Yeah.
Because I come from a different world.
Yeah.
But they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, no. No.
They thought it was some street hate, and you was like trying to blast them. I know you're doing competition and you're doing challenging and vibes like that. That's how sound run. That's how the music run.
Yeah.
But it wasn't taken on the other side. It's like, yo, what do we do, man? What do we do?
They took it serious.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's serious, but it's more like, it's like sports. You know what I'm saying? It's a sport.
I know. Listen.
I know I don't have to tell you, but I'm saying for the people that are paying attention.
Yeah.
You know, because what we do is, I mean, after ska, you know, like I got caught up with what was current at the time in reggae. So you're talking about 1981, 82. I'm already listening to like what's happening at that time in reggae. And were you in New York in those days?
Yep.
Okay, so you know, we probably in a lot of the same places and didn't know each other. But, you know, New York in those days was a very reggae town. You had the Reggae Lounge. You had another reggae club downtown that I can't even remember the name of that was on Bowery. And there was reggae parties everywhere. You have big concerts at Felt Forum. All these big venues used to have really big reggae shows. So I used to go out and see them stage show that would have everybody would be on the same show. You see Yellowman, Michigan is Smiley with, you know, I don't know. I saw the Gay Lads. I saw Bunny Wailer in those days, but a lot of DJ music. And I was really into the DJ music. And for people that aren't super into the Jamaican music, that means the Jamaican rappers, you know? So I was super into that. And that was really happening at the time. That was before it even became digital. So we're talking about rubber dub days, really. And so I remember when Sling Ting came out and exploded people's heads. And it changed the whole world right there, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it was really coming from that, and also coming from just like listening to all them old ska, rocksteady, and early reggae records where it's like Prince Buster dissing on Derek Morgan answering him back, you know, snapping on each other. Then people coming in from
culture. Let me tell you the backside of that.
Yeah.
They would be at the bar, and they would be drinking with each other, or somebody knows somebody that knows him, so they would intervene and make sure these guys don't take it any further than just records.
Sure.
I mean, I was put in that situation myself as a young youth. Yeah, I was. I mean, because I'm from sound system.
Well, if you don't know the people, sometimes it can get serious.
Yeah, but you gotta bring that mediator in there beforehand, so everybody, maybe the public won't know that it's just a joke, or it's just a friendly clash, but the entertainers will know, so it doesn't go any further than that. That's how
I spoke with Derek Morgan about the clash with Prince Buster. Yeah. And he said, well, we were friends the whole time, even though he was really angry at me. Yeah. And I was kind of angry at him too, but we were still friends from before, and we were friends after, and we're friends to this day.
There you go.
But you know, we were just expressing our upset with each other in a creative way that actually worked out very well for both of us. But he said that people didn't know that they were on good terms, even though they were like hashing out this issue that they had. Yeah. And that they were fighting in the streets over it. People were getting shot about it. And they said that the government came to them and made them take a picture to put on the newspaper of them hanging out, shaking hands, and saying, no, these guys are friends. It's not about that. Don't be killing each other.
and they still do that to this very day.
Hey, man, I see crazy videos of like, Bounty Killer punching Beanie Man in the face and stuff like that from back in the day.
Well, that's a little bit personal, but I'm not calling on you. But it is.
That's old. That's old.
Yeah. We're not that thing there. But yeah, it's all staged. So from Stubborn, you have 4 records, and then you started Virgin
3 records. Stubborn Allstars had 3 albums.
3 albums. So from there, you started Virgin City.
Well, the studio got started before that. I would say the studio got started in between the first 2 records. I think it was while we were, you know, all right, so like it was around 1996, which I think is right between the first 2 albums. And Open Season came out. And I was in New York at the time. Rancid had come to New York to play a few nights at Roseland, I think. Mm-hmm. And a call went out around town for a punk rock ska trombone player. And I got the call. So I went there, and they said, okay, you could do this. Come back tomorrow at this time and come play with us. So I went to play the gigs, and I just gave Tim Armstrong a Open Season CD. And the second night I came back, and he was like, yo, why didn't you tell me how good your band is? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm supposed to say my band's awesome? I'm not from California. I'm from New York. I don't do that, right? Sorry, I had to go there.
Ooh.
So just reality, man. Roots reality. So I was like, I don't know, you like it? Cool, you know? And he was like, yeah, it's awesome. So I was like, okay, cool. So then like a few months later, he asked us to go to Europe supporting Rancid, and we did a tour of Europe. I think it was the first Stubborn All-Stars tour in Europe, supporting Rancid for like a month.
Wow.
And then when we came back, they invited me to come on Lollapalooza '96 with them. So I did Lollapalooza '96 with Rancid as the trombonist, and they asked me if it was cool to bring some of the other guys from Stubborn All-Stars, and I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So I got Vic and Dave Hilliard and Elle, and we all went on that tour together.
Sweet.
And we came back from that tour. I remember that I had got a budget to go do some compilation tracks for Profile. And I was going to these like studios that I could afford because we didn't have a huge budget. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to these, pretty cheap studios at that time in New York that were like digital tape studios, And I just remember like we're working with like these engineers that were like, just out of engineering school, and like they didn't really know what they were doing. And I wasn't really happy with anything I was getting. And I was like, I just gave this guy like $1,000. I could have bought a tape machine and a couple of nice microphones, and I just started buying my own stuff, because I didn't really know what I was doing yet. But I had made a lot of recordings with this guy, Jay Wasco, who used to have a recording studio at Giant Studios in Manhattan. Everybody used to rehearse there back in the day, all punk rock bands, all ska reggae bands. That's where we met Scott Danks. Everybody was up there. We used to have sound system parties up there. Alex Desir used to come and hang out at our sound system parties at Giant Studios. And let's see. So I kind of had made a lot of records with this guy, Jay, so I had watched him do a lot of stuff. And then also in the Boilers, Olivier had like this little Tascam 8-track quarter-inch machine. And we used to screw around with that thing constantly, make all kind of recordings on that. We recorded the Skadank's first demo on that machine. And so I kind of knew what I was doing. Not, I wasn't an expert. I didn't really know. But I just started buying pieces and putting them together. I just remember the first day I got everything in the studio and plugged it all in. And I was like, I think it goes like this. I think this is how it works. Put everything together and I turned it on and it worked. I was like, oh my God, it actually worked. And then we just started making records,
So
down there.
So how many bands have you recorded down there?
Oh my gosh. To tell you the truth, I probably forgot most of them.
All right, memorable. Most memorable band.
I mean,
5. Give me 5.
For me, actually, what was really memorable down there was like the way that it wasn't really intended to be a commercial studio. It was intended for like me and my crew to go there and hang out and make records, like, so for the label, really. So just bringing like Victor Rice and Jay and everybody, Stubborn All-Stars down there, and kind of we would just hang out there all the time. So the most memorable stuff for me would just be like how, okay, we got a rhythm section. Oh, cool, let's record. Drums and bass and guitar is here. Cool, let's record some tracks. And then we would do that, and then maybe like you're hanging out, smoking a lot of spliffs, drinking beers. Then like trumpet player shows up, and you're like, yo, we got these tracks. Yo, put something on here, Then Rocker T shows up, and it's like, oh, what's going on, And that whole First Virgin City record was made totally like, we didn't know what we were doing or weren't trying to do anything. We're just making stuff, and like, that was a good time, man. Those were good days. Learning things and figuring things out and just making recordings,
I think you've developed a few careers that I know of. I know you. I mean, like seriously, we can give you some credit for that, bro.
Yo,
Yeah?
I need money to get on the subway still, though.
You know what? Sell a record or two. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, put some money put some money in his thing over there.
Yo,
Make
I'll
sure
tell you a
tip his
secret.
This is King Django.
I'll tell you a secret. They ain't no Subway in New Brunswick.
Oh, you're not in Brooklyn. Sure. You're a Jersey boy now.
Yeah, I moved to New Brunswick 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's cool. I got a big ass garden. I'll grow mad hot peppers every year.
There you go. Ladies
That's my
and gentlemen,
favorite
hold
thing,
on a
probably.
second. I want you to like and share, and make sure you put where you're from. I don't know where everyone is from. Someone asked the question about raisin.
Okay.
How did that sound come about? Let me get some of that answer there. I can't read all
reason
of the
was
questions here.
it's still telling me you want to play Gregory Lee on my laptop, but no problem with that. And by the way, if I didn't mention, I am good friends with Greg and Alex, and I go way back with Alex. And whatever that story is, whatever happened, it was funny. It was a good story. You know, they took it a little serious. They took it a little serious for a minute. There's a good story about when me and Rocker T went to their show when they came to New York and the 45 of Hepcat season came out. But I've told that before. So we're going to talk about
Well, we haven't heard it, but we haven't heard it, but let me hear about
somebody
Reason.
Asked about Reason.
Tell me now. Oh, no. Tell me now.
The Hepcat story? All right. So open season wasn't directed at Hepcat. Open season wasn't directed at anybody. Open season was just open invitation. It says it right at the beginning. It says it right at the beginning. And the whole reason was because I felt that, you know, I was super into this DJ music, you know? Yeah. And I felt that that was the element that was really missing from the American ska and reggae scene. Nobody was doing DJ. Yeah. And so I was like, you know.
Well, you mean clashing.
But they weren't really doing much of it at all at the time. Who was there? You?
You forgot Dub 56? Come on now.
No, I'm just saying, but you,
No, yo.
You were there? I'm not saying nobody did it, but I'm saying who else was there? I was doing it. Brant was doing it. You were doing it. We had it in New York, maybe because, you know, there was a very Jamaican reggae scene in New York. So you have Rocker T and all the Brooklyn crew and everything like that. Yeah, but I mean, in the rest of the American ska scene, people weren't really doing that.
Nah, and you're right.
You have Ruby. Ruby was doing it, you know. But
that's after that, though.
Again, yeah, that was after. And that's Toasters still again. Yeah. So that was something that I felt was like, at that time, not as much a part of the music as I felt that it should have been. So I did that to kind of be like, yo, what's up? How come nobody's toasting? Like, what's up? And that's also why I did it in more of that like 60s kind of style.
But it was great. It was a great record.
Put it back into that context of, yo, this is the, you know, the root 60s style of toasting, you know? Because I feel like maybe people at that time, you know, in New York, I felt like the ska scene and the reggae scene, especially in the 80s, was almost the same. It wasn't complete overlap, but if you went to see Bad Manners or the English Beat, you would see most of the same people at Yellow Man and Steel Pulse. You know, most of the same people, and it was a very mixed scene. Everybody was having fun and getting along. Everybody liked everything in those times, you know. But New York was super reggae.
For sure.
And I guess ska was just like a part of the reggae scene at that time. But what was the question? Yeah, so I just made it as a general thing. It wasn't directed at anybody.
Gotcha.
And so they told me they were making an answer to it, and I was like, awesome, that's awesome, because that's what
you wanted.
That's what it's for. Yeah. Yeah. But then he came back kind of like targeting me. And I hadn't mentioned anybody's name.
Dude, you put it out there though, man. You put it out there. You know,
but at least if you're gonna do that, don't come at me with nursery rhymes, bro. All right.
I don't know what I don't know what the answer was, but I'm just one man.
I know. I'm not putting you in the middle. I'm not putting you in the middle.
I'm just saying. Competition thing, you see me?
I know. I'm just saying, don't come at me with Mary, quite contrary. All right. So all I'm saying is.
Did I start something?
Hopefully.
What's the? No.
I'm just kidding, man. So it's all in good fun.
No.
It's all in good fun.
Moving right along. We're gonna go into another reason.
I live in Jersey, but I'm still from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying?
I know, bro. I know, bro.
So anyway, you want to hear that story or skip ahead?
Let's talk about Reason.
Let's talk about Reason. All right, so on Reason, I'm really going hard against these soft. No, just kidding. So at that point, basically, like Stubborn Allstars wasn't really working. Skinnerbox kind of not really doing anything. And I was hanging out with Tim Armstrong at this vegan restaurant on Avenue A. And he was like, do you want to make a King Django record? And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll do that. And he was like, I will produce it and whatever. And I was like, okay, if you're going to produce it, I will definitely do it. So we signed a deal to do this record, but then he got too busy to produce it. And then he told me Lars would do it, and he got too busy to produce it. And I was like, at the time, to be honest with you, I felt like I really needed a producer because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I didn't know, I felt like I needed somebody to kind of focus me, I was all over the place, as you could probably tell by that record. And so I just went down to Florida, and I stayed in Florida for a month, worked with my friend down there, Frank Mendez, and did a bunch of the tracks down there with him, and then came back up here and got Michael McDermott, who he's now with Joan Jett, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
And got him and Noah Shackman, who was doing a lot of reggae stuff in New York previously, and Agent J. And the four of us just went in and did the rest of the tunes out here in Jersey, in North Jersey, at the studio belonging to a very famous engineer called Alan Duchesne, very famous mastering engineer. He was kind enough to let us go in there and work with one of his engineers. And, I just kind of felt like, I didn't know what, but at that point I was like, all right, whatever, just do whatever. And I just went bonkers. So that's how that happened.
There you go, people. I'm gonna grab this for 1 second. There's more questions, Johnny. I can't see all those questions, so you gotta hit me up. What is King Django's main project now?
Main project now is King Django Band, really. I have a really cool local band here that I really dig playing with. They make me pretty happy when we play. And that's who I've been working with. But I think it's hard for them to tour. We did one little tour. So I don't know if that's going to wind up on the road or stick locally. But there's some stuff in the works to, we were doing that Virgin City tour. We did it a bunch of times, actually, kind of a little bit different every time. But there's some plans in the works to kind of stabilize that situation because I do want to be on the road. I do want to be playing more shows. Sure. I don't feel normal being home except in the summertime when I can grow my hot peppers. The rest of the time, it's true. The rest of the time,
you got that green thumb.
You can see the pictures on Facebook, but I like my veggie garden. This is gonna be my 8th year, and so I don't really want to go anywhere during the spring and summer because of that. But I will for the right situation. But in the winter, I don't want to be around here. I'd rather be on the road playing gigs. And tell the truth, when I'm out there playing every night, that's when I really feel most like myself, For sure. At home, I just get like to make these videos for this thing. Like I realized, man, I'm mad out of practice. I haven't played the ukulele in years, to be honest. And I was like, well, it took me 3 days.
It sounded good, bro. It sounded good, though.
But I was like, when I picked it up, I was like, I can't even do this anymore, So it took me a while. My fingers were hurting and stuff. My hand falling asleep. I'm like, I don't know how to do this no more. It took me a minute, to be honest.
They love it.
So thanks to Supernova for motivating my ass to pick it up and play.
For sure.
I've been playing keyboards in my band, but we haven't been rehearsing for 2 months now because of this whole social distancing.
Tell me about it.
So,
Stephanie says it sounds good.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Joe Hironet says, Django is the ultimate gardener. Okay. Stop the Presses says, beautiful ukulele.
Thank you.
So listen,
I was really nervous. I'll tell you the truth.
you did a good job, man. You did a good job. We have
Do what
come
I
to
could
the end
do.
of the show.
All right.
We come to the end of the show.
That was fun and easy. It went by fast.
Well, it is, man. It's easy talking, man. It's easy talking, easy listening, easy
Especially
playing.
because I know you for so long, too.
That's what it is, man. I'm the greatest host in the world.
I'll give it 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up.
Anyway, yo, King Django, thank you very much for coming through the Supernova Saturdays quarantine sessions, man, and blessing us.
Blessed.
Yeah, man. We're gonna play the set over again, and people are gonna throw them coins in that that PayPal thing over there. Make sure you get some bus fare money.
Thank you guys for the love and the inspiration.
Yo, Supernova audience out there, thank you so much for sticking with us and coming through from the time we started with it, with all the glitches, and now it's done to perfection. Thank Johnny O over there, April in the background, Tim over there in the background, and the whole of Supernova family. Jeremy, big up yourself for plastering us all over the place where you do. Next week, we have Linville from the special, so that should be interesting as well. To all, good night. King Django, respect.
Bless.
Yo, man, you've done a lot, and I really appreciate what you've done, man. I got my soul in there. I've seen everything that you've done, man. I've seen where you started from, bro. And
bless it.
You're good, man, for real. Respect.
Bless it.
Yeah, respect. All right, we're going to start the show over this out. Coolie Ranx out!
Not like a star, you're like the moon to me. Ever close, but sharing your light only once in a while. I don't know where you've been while I've been gone, and I'm always on the run. Not like the sun that burns me all the day, but the ocean lapping at my shores. Cool water refreshing to my soul. And I love you just because. Not like a star. No, you're not like a star. Baby, not like a star. Like the moon to me. Ever close, share your light only once in a while. I don't know where you've been while I've been gone, and I'm always on the run. Not like a star. No, you're not like a star. Oh, baby, not like a star. You're like the moon to me. Ever close, sharing your light only once in a while. I don't know where you've been while I've been gone, and I'm always on the run. I'm always on the run. Said I'm always on the run. Ooh. Might I rise? 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 Might I rise to find you? The moon in the sky lights up your eyes like a backdrop of heaven. And this tune I describe, girl, it could match your beauty's never. Oh, but baby, I still haven't seen you, though, maybe. One day I will ride to find you, find you by my side. The sun greets the dawn to find me thinking about your treasures. And by night I dream on to the day that I might taste your pleasures. Ah, but baby, I still haven't seen you, though, maybe. One day I will rise to find you, find you by my side. I got a yearning in my heart and a hole in my soul over you. I like a king that's sitting on an empty throne. Girl, I long to hold you. I long to hold you close to me. Baby, I long to find you. I long to find you by my side. Yeah, the moon in the sky lights up your eyes like the backdrop of heaven. And this tune I describe, girl, it could match your beauty as never. Oh, but baby, 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 I still haven't seen you, though. Maybe there I will rise to find you. Oh, I'll find you by my side. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, ah, ah. Every time you hate, there's a chance to love. Each time you fall, there's a chance to get back up. Every conflict is a chance to understand. Free will is what it means to be a man. Every chance to fight is a chance to make a friend. Every breakup is a chance to make amends. Every chance for war is a chance for peace. And free will separate man from beast. Take your chances, make your choice, and choose your weapon. Use your voice, cry loud, and I hope that you choose to cry out loud. For each chance that you take will be your last. Take your chances, make your choice, choose your weapon, or use your voice. Cry out loud, and I hope that you choose to cry out loud. For each chance that you take will be your last, will be your last. Be your last, be your last. good seed to plant in your field, and I help you plow it. If you still can't make it grow, then you don't know how to farm it. The seed is strong and bountiful, what to yield a crop so beautiful. So if you will be dutiful, then we both shall eat in plenty. But if you do not listen to me and treat the field impatiently, and do not mind it carefully, or thinking only of what you will reap, then the crop will drop and fail. I know, I said the crop will drop and fail. The crop will drop and fail. Oh yes, I said the crop will drop and fail. So we, my good seed, plant in your field, and plenty help to plow it. Know that we gonna make it grow, yes, to bear sweet fruits and flowers, and a crop won't drop or fail. I know, I said the crop won't drop or fail. The crop won't drop or fail. I know, I said the crop won't drop or fail. We're at the ending to this tale. This crop won't drop or fail.